Bon dia, and I think that's good morning, but it's a different language, so it counts. And welcome to the I'll Try That podcast. This week, I'm joined by Mr. Matthew Barber.
Bon dia to you, my friend.
Bon dia to you, even though it is 8:10 on a Sunday. Why not? It's morning somewhere for someone, so that hopefully someone in Portugal's listening.
Brazil, maybe, because they speak Portuguese too, so that'd do, wouldn't it?
There we go, that works as well. We're not joined by Mr. Joseph Druitt, because he is currently in Australia. I believe it was a couple of days ago, he took a flight with his daughter, who was just turned 1-year-old daughter, on a transatlantic flight to Australia. I don't envy him, in all honesty. We've
heard back, he's all right, she's all right, and it all went well. Remarkably,
yeah,
I think, by the sounds of things.
Winner. So this week we are visiting Stroud Brewery in Stroud. So it's
albeit with a detour, I suppose, as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I suppose with a detour to our favourite services, Gloucester services, because Westmorland, so their farm shop they have in Gloucester services, have done a collab beer with Stroud Brewery, which we're trying today, so we'll wait and see how that goes. But first things first, over to Mr. Matthew Barber for the hop topic.
Yeah, and you know what, straight up, this one is not news. I have shared it with the chaps as well, and it's not news, but in the last week or so, I don't know actually if I'm normally a little bit behind the times with these sorts of things. However, there's been a viral video, or a little selection of viral videos over the last week or so that absolutely made my year. So just a little bit, it just brought a smile to my face. It is beer related, and this is really just a bit of platforming to say anyone who has missed the Star Wars Chilean beer commercials, please go and have a YouTube or a Google or whatever it is, you go and track these down, because they absolutely made me fall off my chair laughing. So
they're quite possibly the funniest video I've watched this year.
I'm going to say, to be honest, I can get away with saying something like this while Joe's not here, but greatest beer commercial I've ever seen.
Oh, I would definitely say greatest beer commercial I've ever seen. It actively makes me want to go and buy Cristal.
Yeah, and
is it Cristal?
I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, interestingly, we've got an episode coming up on a beer called Cristal because it's part of our beer swap shop. But the one I've brought us is a Portuguese one. So how appropriate that you said Bom Dia at the top of the
excellent.
show.
Yeah.
I've got Cristal, which was a beer I used to drink in Portugal, which we've got coming up. I think it's a popular name because I'm sure there's another Spanish-speaking country with a beer called Cristal. But the fact that, as far as I'm aware, this particular version is just available in Chile, or possibly some surrounding nations as well, makes me want to get it shipped over here. Should we explain what happens in the advert? I feel a little bit like if me talking through it isn't going to do it justice. But
I tell you what we do. We will stick this out onto our Facebook page. We'll stick it on the story because this is going out on Wednesday. We'll set it now. This episode's going to go out next Wednesday.
It's coming out now, isn't it? Because you guys are listening. It's coming out now.
You're listening to it. Yeah. So the day that this drops, we will post the link onto our Instagram account. Because it is pure genius sort of thing. And if you're a Star Wars fan and a beer fan, I think you're going to be like, you're going to want this more in other films that you watch. I feel it would make anything better. I think
it's not spoiling it too much to just do that. With like every passing minute, I want to do this. There's a little bit of the advert involves a man going Cerveza Cristal. And I just want to shout it from the nearest rooftop. But to explain quite what's happened here, and some of you may have seen this already, basically, I think it was the first time there was I was a little bit unclear on some of the backstory here. I thought it was in cinemas, but actually I understand it was the first time Star Wars, original Star Wars in the 70s, A New Hope came out, and they were putting it on Chilean TV. And the Chileans decided they didn't want to have advert breaks. They wanted to just watch the movie the whole way through. So they thought, well, you still got to have an advert break. So they said, well, what we'll do is we'll splice the adverts into the film, into the program as well. So they obviously had got like a little set where, in one example, you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi in his big long gown. And there's various situations in which Cerveza Cristal was not in the original cut of the film, but they managed to put it in. You could say, I think it started off being like the description was someone going, it's going to be really subtle. It's almost going to be like you blink and you miss it. And actually, if you are watching it and taking the film seriously and not looking at your phone, you pretty much get hit with a sledgehammer of an advert for this beer. And when I say it was my favourite beer advert of all time, it's not for any clever artistic value or because it really makes you think or anything like that. The comic value is absolutely amazing. So I hope everyone goes and has a little look at it.
Yeah. Well, it's guerrilla marketing they do nowadays, where companies will pay large sums of money to have their product featured in films, like you'll see them only drinking Pepsi.
Product placement type stuff, yeah.
Yeah, product placement and all this sort of stuff, which I really, sometimes I'm fine with, other times when it's just really in your face, it's just really, really annoying. But I kind of wish they just went right into it like they've done with this Star Wars commercial sort of thing. Be so blatantly obvious that this is a beer commercial.
It's also, actually, I understand. Well, I had a couple of little, because when I saw this, I had to have a good half an hour look around for because there are a few videos of parts of Star Wars where it happened. And I think it was with not just the first Star Wars, but the follow-up ones as well. Yeah. There's also, people had sort of expanded it out into other films and key moments that in movies, which they felt really could have been enhanced with the existence of Cerveza Cristal. And, yeah, I mean, that's really all it is. I mean, it wasn't a news item. It's just, I've seen something that made me really, really happy. I really hope everyone goes and has a look at it. And I mean, if you don't find it as funny as us, you probably will think, what the hell are you on about? But, it's worth a look. It really tickled me.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, as I said, we will make sure you can see it, and I'm going to send it round to everybody I know. I feel more that I kind of just I swooped over it the first time you sent it to us, and I'm genuinely upset that I did.
I was going to say, like, if you've not seen it, it's I think it's just, I just want to put a Star Wars clip in here, fine, whatever. It's so much more.
It's beautiful. All right, well, let's take a step away from Star Wars. And Cerveza Cristal
into a galaxy rather nearer.
I was going to say considerably closer to both of us. Stroud Brewery. Was Stroud where I ended up when we went to Simo's wedding by accident?
Not far away. We were in Cirencester.
No. Beforehand, I ended up in the wrong train station, didn't I? And I'm pretty sure it was Stroud.
Oh, sorry, you did. When you were meant to be going to Swindon, you went to Stroud instead.
Yeah, meant to go to Swindon, ended up in Stroud.
Easy mistake to make.
Easy mistake to make. Look, we made it to the wedding, unlike you, which was the...
There was a caveat to that. I didn't know I was supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's a fair point. You made it though, which is the main thing.
Get a load of this guy didn't turn up, didn't let anyone know. Does he know he's supposed to be here?
Yeah.
But yes, Stroud, my sort of neck of the woods. About half
Your
an hour
neck of the woods, yeah. And yeah, it's a collab beer, but not your usual collab beer. So I think it's not with another brewery or another food product.
It's almost, I think, did they say they brewed it especially for these guys? So I'm guessing the Westmorland guys almost don't have any brewing site or facilities or anything like that. And so Stroud, who, to be fair, actually just, I almost feel a little bit like, or kind of almost an apology, because they are certainly worth an episode in their own right. And I just go to myself, God, we haven't done an episode on Stroud Brewery before, have we? Because I was trying to do some more, there was a point where we were all trying to do some more local, and I know Stroud was what I was thinking about, and I think I might have even gifted some Stroud to you guys at some point as well. But they are, pretty, happy, successful brewery in their own right, basically. But it just so happens that the lovely Richard was passing through Gloucester Brewery Gloucester Brewery, Gloucester Services, and the Westmorland Farm Shop organisation, who we mentioned, I think, at length, the Gloucester Services and our love for it. Because Westmorland, I think, are the company that do Gloucester and T-Bay. So if you're ever going up north and into Scotland, and I've
visited T-Bay,
the produce on offer is of the highest order.
It's fantastic. I was coming back from my parents who were Worcester based, and I stopped up at the but I was driving down. I was like, I've got to get a bottle of wine for my mum, sort of thing, and some flowers, because that's what you do. And it was about 8:00 in the evening, and I got in there when the reduced section of the farm shop was kicking out, sort of thing.
I bet you were laughing.
I came back with so many sausages and sourdough loaves, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, you'd have been absolutely snowed under with them. But
yeah.
It's interesting, though, because, I mean, really, that's sort of almost the theme and a topic in which we should be talking about Stroud and Westmorland and what we're drinking here, basically, because this is an organic pale ale, isn't it?
Yes.
And the organic vibe is what Stroud are all about, basically. Sustainability in sort of everything they do. Never want to use any ingredients that sort of degenerate the environment. And actually, that is, I don't quite know the way to put it, sort of nice and diplomatically, but there's almost like a bit of a Stroud. I think they get thrown in a little bit with, if you guys have heard of Dale Vince, who's Forest Green Rovers football chairman, which is the first vegan football club. It's not really the same place, to be quite honest. However,
it's a vegan football club.
Yeah. Forest Green Rovers vegan football club. He was planning on making a stand out of wood. I think it might have a couple of safety issues. Basically, I think they were going to go ahead with it, but this part of sort of Gloucestershire, which I think it all counts as, quite earth conscious, very green, and very sustainable and very environmentally friendly, basically.
What's that? That's what I think. That's what a lot of smaller breweries are aiming for, aren't they? As well, to be eco-efficient and everything like that.
Yeah,
because I was up in Bristol at the weekend with a friend, and we went to the Bristol Brewery. Is it Bristol Brewery? The one with the grill.
New Bristol Brewery.
New Bristol Brewery. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic tap room if you ever get a chance to go there. But they're all striving for the eco, and they're all solar panels everywhere and all this sort of stuff. But and I get it. I really like it. Also, I really like this beer
from New Bristol.
Yeah. No, this beer here.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. I assumed you were drinking the organic pale ale from Stroud and Westmorland, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah. I was sorry. There was a weird caveat. I was talking about another brewery.
That's all right. I looked in your glass and I thought it was a bit darker, but it's it's a really lovely light golden. Well, it's almost orangey, but it's very pale, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was drinking Guinness 0.0 because I'm currently on a bit of a kick from the alcohol. So I'm currently I said I'm allowed to have a sip of the beer so I can taste it, but I can't have the whole can. Is the current, but
I see. Well, this is on the taste while we're on it. Very enjoyable, actually. It's 4.2, not too heavy going, quite quaffable, and just put you in a nice place, really, isn't it?
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting a lot from a service station collab beer.
When you put it like that, yeah, I wouldn't either.
But no one's getting like going to the welcome break, are they? If there was a welcome break collab beer or an Esso or something like that, you're just not sold on it, are you?
No, that's true.
Because the picture is the front of the services. Yeah,
although I mean I don't know, it's a little bit, it's not quite a field of heather, but it's it's quite a nice little service station in the fact that it's almost like a little sort of turf. It's almost underground, but it's not, and it's got a turf roof. It's a vegan beer actually. That's worth pointing out as well. I think you said. I think the images that come into your mind when you talk about service station beer. This is not just a service station beer. This is like the kind of M&S style. You're looking at this. This is definitely it was definitely a high end price. Yeah. I bet it was actually. Do you remember how much it was? I think it was like $5.50 a can or something. Okay. Yeah. Which wasn't cheap. Because this is the second collab beer we've had from there, because we had that Ruby Bauble one from Eden. I think it was Eden's Brewery collab with Westmorland's, which I really like. I think I think I really like the whole initiative with the service station, because it was definitely a gimmicky selling point for me. I was like, this is fantastic. It was. Which I enjoyed it, and I love it. I do like the can design. It is simple. That's it, and they're just quite simple. Here's a picture. Here's some white writing with everything you need to know, and go and get some and go home. I mean, actually, when you say $5.50, just my natural instinct is to go, oh crikey, that's expensive. But actually, in a craft beer situation, $5.50, I frequently hear and see things a lot worse than that. Yeah, that's it, sort of thing. And I've paid a lot more for beer than £5.50. Yes, indeed you have. Yes, yeah. But what I think I'm just trying to find a bit of history on the Stroud Brewery, but there's not much on their page. I think they've only been around since about 2008, actually. So they are one of the more modern. I mean, there we go. After the spike of breweries, again, I'm talking from my previous knowledge of them rather than anything else. But the reason I know is because I think there was something I was reading a little while ago about they do a hop club, which I think was about getting people to have a look at growing their own hops and sort of coaching them through it, and then understanding about hops and what goes into a good beer and that sort of thing. But 2008, is that tallying up with what you have a look at? 2006. Okay. Beg your pardon. It was a passion project for our founder, Greg Philly, an adventurer, environmentalist, and beer lover. His purpose was to simply make great tasting beer for the local community, whilst being the change he wanted to see in the business world. Yeah. Well, it's quite funny. You read all of these stories and about breweries and everything like that. They're all very similar. Well, so this one, I would say, I don't know what it is that's kind of convinced me a bit more about the others, but I kind of feel like we've seen a lot of breweries and we have a bit of a look into them and try and understand what they're about. And there's quite a lot of them that have gone, oh yeah, we're like environmental as well. And it's almost just like they've gone, everyone's environmental, so we need to say we're environmental as environmentally friendly as well. However, I really think Stroud are that's their, I mean, it's not completely a unique selling point, but that's what they're kind of throwing their weight behind, because they've got, is it the Soil Association actually certified it's organic? Yeah. I love that. I'd love to know if I become part of the Soil Association, but it is they're getting the credentials to do it as well. The bit that I also meant to check and find out was about their, something about their logo I find quite eye-catching. So it's like a circle with almost from top left to bottom right, it looks like a river from like a bird's eye view, and then it's got and it's got three squares either side, and I'm sure it's to do with organic or something and proper farming methods, but I don't know what the background of it is at the moment. But I honestly have no clue. Yeah. I'm just looking at dots, and I quite like it. Mm. I kind of hope the head brewer's got that tattooed on his chest, though. That's kind of the... that's the minimum you'd expect, really, isn't it? Yeah, that's the minimum you would expect, at least. Yeah. But yeah, and also, I'm there for the Soil Association too. Okay. I would love to go to their annual meeting. Definitely. I reckon the Soil Association know how to get down. Yeah, quite serious, quite business-like, 364 days of the year. Yeah, but on that remaining one, it's hardcore. It's hard. There's soil flying everywhere. Yeah, legit. Or they're just all really grounded. Oh, you had to, didn't you? You really want the head of the Soil Association to be called Pete, don't you? Really?
and his partner Doug.
Oh, goodness me. We're going to be going for a little while like this. But, yeah, although, to be honest, though, as a first initial taster for Stroud, and the thing is, actually, I'm sure I've tried Stroud before, and actually, now thinking about it, I'm sure at Simo's when there was a Stroud Brewery beer available. This is a really good tipple, I think, to start off with. Go on.
I was going to say, and I think the place you probably are going to buy it, if you're not from Stroud and you are travelling along the motorway at some point, is going to be Gloucester Services.
Yeah.
Look, I will big it up again. If you're popping into Gloucester Services, pick yourself up some Stroud, because in all fairness, their whole beer selection is absolutely fantastic there. They've got a really good craft brewer scene. But yeah, pick yourself up some Westmorland and Stroud Brewery beer and a pack of sausage rolls.
Or a good pie. I think I mentioned that last time we talked about it. I had a cracking pie from there before.
If you're there in the summer, get the barbecue pack as well.
Yeah, fair. All right. I don't think we're going to be on commission for services for long. But well, there you go. That's a nice tight 20 minutes. Enjoy.
Wait there. I was going to get their Instagram.
Oh, we should do numbers.
Yeah, we should do numbers. Give me a minute.
You do the Instagram. Oh, Joe will kill us if he finds out.
Oh, I know. So, Instagram, they've got 12.1k followers.
Oh, just 12.1 followers. Like a tenth of a bloke. I sort of follow them.
Yeah, but we're also following them now, so that's
okay.
Good.
We've
good
given
for
them a boost. Stroud Brewery on Twitter, 7.8 thousand followers.
Oh, nice. Like that.
Yeah. So, there you go. And I wonder, that, to be honest, that's pretty good. With a lot of breweries we've looked at, there's been some massive breweries that have had like 500.
Yeah. Fair play, Stroud Brewery.
Yeah, fair enough. We're on board, and yes, we'll try and get a bit more on them in the future.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barbara,
and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.